Now, moving to the other end of the draft board is the low ADP receivers, the guys that nobody really is drafting right now, but could have triple-digit 100-target upside. And this one was framed around in your 100 questions, the Detroit Lions. So I imagine we'll be talking about at least one of those guys. And that makes sense because that target totem pole, other than TJ Hawkinson and DeAndre Swift, is a complete mystery. So which receivers do you think are going low that have 100-plus target upside in 2021?
Yeah, I still got to break this one down specifically, but I pulled up just, some underdog ADPs and wide receivers that are at wide receiver 50 or lower. Not outside the top 50, because that would not allow me to talk about Corey Davis, who is sitting right there and actually in a pretty great spot, man. Shout out to my guy, Andrew Erickson, who's always on the Wednesday edition of the PFF Fantasy Football Podcast. But he brought it up on our episode we recorded yesterday where, Corey Davis, he just had his best season ever, which is great. And he just went to an offense that paid him a lot of money to come there with a new rookie quarterback. And Corey Davis should be projected to lead this team in targets. And he's not number 5 overall pick good, but he was a legit top 10 receiver in efficiency metrics last year. Now, will that change when he's not, when he's not the number 2 behind AJ Brown? Defenses have to focus more attention on him. Sure. But we could also see enough targets to make up for that. And again, when he's going wide receiver 50, it's a, risk that you're willing to take around there. So Corey Davis qualifies. Devontae Parker is right next to him. I think he'll probably finish 3rd on targets with Miami, but let's be honest, we don't really know what's going to happen there. I mean, the receivers Tua was throwing to at the end of last year. I mean, Parker, credit to him for gutting out through some injuries he was working with, but brand new offense. So Devontae is someone that we could see finish with triple-digit targets. Cole Beasley has gotten there in each of the past 2 years. He had 5 games to over 100 yards last year, man. And, they switched out John Brown for Emmanuel Sanders. So Beasley could just once again be this really solid kind of high floor wide receiver 3 that has a little bit more boom than we like to give, white slot receivers credit for. Henry Ruggs, I think, is a great bounce back option. The issue was Nelson Aguilar. Is it incredibly annoying that Nelson Aguilar was the issue? Absolutely, yeah. But he's gone. John Brown's back. We both love Smokey Brown. That's fine, but his health is always a concern, particularly coming off of last year. And Ruggs didn't have a game with more than 5 targets last year. And I do buy into the idea that you need to kind of earn your targets, and they're a good indicator of a more talented player. But again, it wasn't like he was just, busting with a bunch of opportunities. He looked pretty good when they decided to throw him the ball. I'm not giving up on him just yet with this low ADP. Speaking of Nelson Aguilar, I think with the Patriots, he is looking like their wide receiver 1. He's not getting the respect. Elijah Moore with the Jets. If they ever cut Jamison Crowder, I don't know what they're waiting for, but they drafted Moore early round 2. And if he comes out there, similar to Corey Davis, he could easily take over this offense. Breshad Perriman or Amon-Ra St. Brown were the guys I was thinking of with Detroit. We'll see if I zero more in on that. Amon-Ra, it's I understand people aren't huge on the guy. They weren't on the prospect, and it's only a 4th round pick. But that said, man, it is that wide open of an offense. I mean, all these available target articles, it's almost like 100 targets between the Lions and the next highest team. Someone is going to eat in that offense. And say what you will about Jared Goff, Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp over the years were just fine. And that defense in Detroit is going to be well worse than whatever he was working with out there in LA. And final point, you kind of scoffed at him earlier, and I don't think he's all that great either, but TreQuan Smith, man, shaping up as the wide receiver 2 in New Orleans. If it's Jameis under center, I think TreQuan could be okay. He actually had a game last year, I think it was right after Michael Thomas got hurt, where, I don't know, man, he kind of impressed me a little bit more than usual with kind of some of his yak stuff. And then he got hurt after, and then he disappeared. That's the thing. He'll look good for a game or 2, and then he just kind of disappears over the years. So TreQuan, when they've thrown him the ball, good things usually happen. And now that Breeze we know Breeze is gone. Now that we're probably not going to see the offense flow quite so heavily through the running back in the passing game, could be TreQuan's time to shine.
I do love TreQuan at that price tag for sure. I know I chuckled at him when comparing who does Michael Thomas have competition for. I think he's maybe my favorite name you brought up on that list. I do love Cole Beasley as well, who had 4 20-plus fantasy point days last year. You think of him as just the low upside, just churning the change and all that. And he does, but he also has some big blow up games for him. So I love that one. It happens every year, whether it was, Terry McLaurin a couple seasons ago, even Justin Jefferson as a rookie walking into I guess Adam Thielen was there, but still pretty wide open target situation. There's always these murky situations and nobody really takes him till round 10 or below, I think the Jets is a great qualifier. Somebody is going to be a top probably 30 receiver, top 25 even receiver from the Jets, whether that's Crowder, Moore, or Corey Davis. I don't know. I can't pretend to know which one Zach Wilson's going to mesh with. I think it's going to be Moore personally. That's my guess. Somebody is going to be that though. So yeah, it's got to be one of those. I just love loading up because especially when you look at like the hit rate of running backs after round, I think 4 or 5 is just disgusting. Never mind round 10. It's like literally 0%. You're going to get a useful running back unless there's an injury. So I love just stacking up receiver after receiver, particularly if you're playing best ball. Of course, everyone knows you just got to stack up in those ranges and hope for the big ones. I love the line situation with Perriman. I think he could be the guy. I like targeting the Jets guys and figuring out what happens there. And I love TreQuan Smith. I think he could really emerge with a gunslinging quarterback like Jameis Winston. It's weird to say someone's better off with Winston instead of Breeze, a Hall of Famer, but I really think a guy like TreQuan, his skill set fits so much better with Winston.
That's fantasy football for you, man. It's the game we play. It doesn't always have to make sense.
Exactly. It never does. It literally will never make sense.
Well said.
Ever. What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments, check out some more videos, and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.